We're at the Trio Life Nursery here in San Juan Capistrano, beautiful San Juan Capistrano. I had to pick up some plants for a job that I'm doing in Buena Park, and I just wanted to share this opportunity with you to show you the nursery here in the spring. And one unfortunate thing about this particular nursery is that it's going to be closing after the end of the year. There's quite a few nurseries here in Southern California that have been closing because of development. There's housing development that's going on not far from here up in the hills, and it just keeps stretching out and stretching out and stretching out. Pretty soon they're going to have housing all the way from like the 5 freeway all the way over to like Temecula in due time. But this is the Ortega Highway here. Let me switch this around. This is the Ortega Highway. I think it's the 134, and it goes all the way through the mountains and whatnot. It goes to Temecula. On the weekends, you have a lot of people that ride motorcycles, and they just like to do drives. This is a beautiful, beautiful drive from Orange County over to the Inland Empire, over to the Temecula area. But all along this trails there, along this roadway, as you can see over in the back there in the background, there's a lot of live oak trees, a lot of natural trees and plant materials out here. But one thing about this nursery, through time, they have planted a lot of native plants, and they have basically naturalized here in this particular region. So as I walk over to the nursery, hopefully you hang with me, and I'll show you some plant materials that's going on, the stuff that's growing here live here at the nursery out here in the grounds. And also when I go to pick these couple of plants out, hopefully they'll have what I need. I'm pretty sure they will, but since they're closing down, a lot of plant materials they've been utilizing whatever stash they have in their offices and in the nursery. They've been utilizing most of their materials up and getting rid of their inventory little by little. But I just wanted to take you through and show you the beauty of this place. It's a lot of plant material that has naturalized over the years that this nursery has been around. Take, for instance, this California poppy. It's a lot of these California poppies that are basically showing their heads and springing up. We had some really good rains here this past spring, and so they have California poppies that's all over the place. We have this, this is, what is this now? This is, they use that in cough syrup. I can't think of the name of it right now off the top. I'll remember before I leave here. But we have some of this growing out at the Olive Ranch. It's just wild. But they use this here in making cough medicine. I can't think of the name of it right off the top. And there's some, there's a lot of different plants in here. Some things I can't remember right off the top, but I'll probably remember them as we walk along here. But have different alloys and stuff going on, really lethal stuff. But in an area like this, it doesn't really matter because, hey, you're out here in the wild, so we don't have to be worried about it. Here's a fairy duster. The bees really love that. You can see the bees going after this fairy duster. It's a very drought-tolerant shrub. Has beautiful flowers on it pretty much throughout the year. I'm pretty sure there's a beehive around here. This thing is loaded with bees. I don't know if you can see it or not. They're pretty small, but there's bees all over that plant there. So that's one thing that's going to be very disappointing to see. Once they come through and they start tearing things up, they're going to pretty much destroy all of this. I know that they probably won't utilize a lot of this plant material. They'll come in to create whatever type of driveways and whatever type of roadways they need in order to access the property, in order to do the construction. There's a lot of manzanita trees. There's different varieties of manzanita. Here's one manzanita here. Some of them will have labels on them. They've been through their blooming cycle earlier in the year. And I got to be careful because around here also this time of year you have rattlesnakes. And the rattlesnakes, the young ones, they come out, they've hatched out, and so you got to be really careful walking the trails around here, especially out here in this part of the country, because it's pretty wild, pretty hot and dry. It's a lot of areas where the snakes can hide in the rocks and in the ground. You just have to be careful, and they'll be out this time of day sunning in the sun. And the ones that are most lethal are the smaller snakes, because when they bite, they release all their venom. Usually from the larger ones, they bite they only release enough venom to pretty much paralyze their victim. But the young ones, they don't know any better. They just go off. And so they'll release all their venom in one bite. So I'm not going to venture out on the trails. There's a lot of other really interesting things to see out there, but I don't have my my protective gear on, to boots or anything like that. I'm walking around here with gym shoes on, so I don't want to be going around here and opening up my legs to get bit, possibly. But as we walk here, there's a lot of different plant material. Here's one that's really cool. It's a California native. It's called a bladder pod. And you can see they call it a bladder pod because of the pods that are basically on the shrub. They are pretty soft, so I guess they would resemble like a bladder, whether it be an animal bladder or a human bladder. This is the flower that it produces, a really nice flower. But this is a native, and you can see it gets pretty woody through time. There's some California native penstemons, and that looks like that's what is this over here? This looks like it's a buckwheat. Yeah, this is a buckwheat, a variety of buckwheat. Some different cactuses and stuff up in here. But this whole side here, as you come into the nursery, is all different. Oh yeah, that's one western redbud that's back there in the background. Forgot to really isolate on that, but that's a beautiful tree. It's a western redbud. It's a native out here in the West Coast. And so I'm gonna go here and grab one of these carts and get with it. We got our oak trees going on, more cacti, another different variety of buckwheat. There's a lot of native buckwheat here. Most of this is already bloomed. It bloomed earlier in the year. Has a white flower, so it's white. Well, this is nice. This is what is this? Can't think of the name of it. I'll think of it though as I walk around. We'll probably see it again in the nursery. But it has really beautiful flowers. Then the beneficials, the bees are going after this one, but the beneficials love the flowers on that. So they have this bookstore. It's called Casa La Plaza. It's actually has a lot of different books and things in here. And you can see the different magnolias. There's some big ones in here. Big magnolias going on. And there's a little house for bees. So the bees can be able to house themselves in that little house there. Prune foliage and spent flowers are valuable resources for creating shelters and nesting materials and food for wildlife. Very nice. But there's a lot of different varieties of manzanita. There's one that's blooming a little bit later. There's a manzanita right there that's blooming a little bit later in the year. Here's another one that looks like is just now finishing up its bloom cycle. You can see the blossoms on that. They're really small. They call it manzanita because these flowers resemble apples. And manzanita is apple in Spanish. So that's why it's called manzanita. But you can see they are all strewn out through here and throughout the trail. And there's buckwheat, different types of buckwheat. What is this? This is coast buckwheat. So it's more of a prostate growing type of buckwheat. So as you go through, they have a trail here that you can take. Oh, look at this ceanothus. This ceanothus is really showing off here. This is a ceanothus, dark star ceanothus. I know that Rama from Creations Landscape Designs, she designs in a lot of this particular ceanothus in her jobs. And you can see the characteristics of it. It's pretty robust. It gets a good size, but it just has mounds and mounds of flowers on it. Really nice purple flowers. The bees love it. They're going after it with a vengeance. So as you can see, it makes a really good statement shrub. And they have a little bridge that goes over here. I'm not going to venture too far, but I'm going to go up here on the bridge and show you some things. A little creek going through here, and the pathway goes through. And there's a lot of different plant materials that's back up on the trail. So you can actually come here on a day with some nice boots on and some protective gear so you don't accidentally get bit by any snakes that are out venturing around, and just go through the trail and see some of the plants that are growing in its natural state, because that's what they do here. But I'm just going to walk around a little bit before I pick up my cart and pick up what I need. We got these sycamore trees. These sycamores are really nice. Usually in the evening time, the vultures, there's these turkey vultures that come and they land in these trees and they kind of hang out for the rest of the night. There's a couple of them that's soaring right now. Maybe as I walk through, we'll be able to get a better glimpse of them soaring. But here we go. This is pretty much your palette of different types of California native and drought tolerant plants. Milkweed, narrow leaf milkweed. Butterflies love that, especially monarchs. Got coyote mint and some violets. These are native violets. Irises, so they're blooming right now. So these are pretty much native to California, these irises here. And ribes. So a lot of this plant material here is conducive for the shade. And it's really cool because a lot of these irises, they're blooming right now just before Easter. This particular one is called Iris Light Blue. This is what it looks like when it comes out of its stem there. I like utilizing these in pockets when we're doing shade gardens, just to have something pop. It has a little bit of grassy height to it, so I like utilizing those. We have our bush monkey flower. That's a really cool native. I've seen this growing as you take that road or take a highway. You can see these growing off of the cliff. It's wild. They just grow out of the cliffs and down the side of the cliffs there. So as you head towards Temecula, you'll see this particular flower, which is a native. It's called Mamilius. It's a bush monkey flower. They come in different colors. This one happens to be yellow, but they have some that like orange and some other colors. It seems like all of our irises are in bloom right now. You have yellow, you have your purple back there, and that's really nice to see. Here's another. This is called jelly bean gold. I think this is the one I see a lot when we go over towards Temecula and Ortega, and you see these growing off of the sides of the cliffs there. We have our prunus, which is basically a native pine. Prunus monophylia. This is the one needle pine. We go through here. Heucheras Canyon. This is more of shade lover. Really nice wispy flowers. And there's the growing grounds and stuff back there. And so all this is going to be a development. So sad. So sad. Here's our Achillea, our yarrow. This particular variety is called Heidi. Comes, I guess, in a pink. Then you have this one over here. This is more of a paprika. It's a red. So this is the buds, what it looks like. Sometimes people utilize this as a ground cover because it'll spread out through time. It makes a really cool ground cover, say like an area where it's not a lot of traffic, foot activity. Here's some manzanitas, and this is no, this isn't a manzanita. This is a lemonberry. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah. It's let me see now. No, it is a manzanita. This is a manzanita. So this is the berries from the manzanita after it flowers out. This is what the berries look like. Okay. So we'll go through and we'll head over in the area where I'm looking for this one particular plant. Oh, look at this. This is a manzanita. It's called Little Sir. And they have it in a container. See how it just droops over. This would make a really nice container plant. If you're doing a container, like a tall container garden, you want to have something that's in the middle, then put some bulbs or whatever on the sides of it, or just some annual color in these pockets. They'll look really cool, man. Having these drip over the side of the planter. Here's one. It's another manzanita. It's a big, I think it's called a big berry. I think this is called big berry. There's a lot of different varieties of manzanitas. It's more ceanothus there. A lot of different varieties of ceanothus. A lot of these plants have just come out of their blooming cycle, which is the early spring. And we have here's a white one. So here's a white ceanothus. Some people don't realize that ceanothus actually comes in white too. So there's a white one. I think this was called White Cloud. So that makes a really nice statement. Something changed, different in the landscape. Here's a really cool native. It's called California fuchsia. These are used quite a bit Butterflies love this. Hummingbirds love this. This different varieties of California futures. This is the Euphobium californium. This is the Euphobium canum, the hoary leaf California fuchsia, and this one is just the straight up California fuchsia. You see the different varieties, how one is more wispy and light as opposed to this one is more hefty and more of a bush form. So having this in conjunction with that will be a really good transition, like from one layer to another layer. And then they have another one that's called La Gloria. This is probably, this was introduced by Tree of Life. And so this particular variety was hybridized here. It's called La Gloria, California fuchsia. I think Gloria is the owner's, one of the partner's wife's name. And so that's in honor of his wife. I think she might have hybridized it, but it's called La Gloria. And introduced here at Tree of Life. It's a fuchsia. Interesting. I might pick one of those up. That's something different for the job site, because we need quite a few flowers. And so I think I'll pick one of those up since it's kind of like a special brew. Yeah, different types of buckwheat here. Sulfur buckwheat. And you have St. Catherine's lace buckwheat. So these are the same family, but different variety of buckwheat. We have another one here called Santa Cruz Island buckwheat. So more than likely this is a native of Santa Cruz Island. I like this. This is a really nice compact form. Then you have another one. This is a little bit more rangy. So it's different types, absiderans. And we head on back to where the salvia is located. We have to pick up a salvia. So what is this? Is this the Annie's? Yeah, this is the Salvia Annie. I like the Annies because they put out a lot of flowers, really prolific in their flowering. So what I'll do is take a look, see which ones I want to pick here. I like picking the ones that have a really good stock to it. You know, sometimes if they're split out, that's great because you get more action going on. So let me see here. That one there, this one here, this one there. This one's tall, so it has a really nice thick stalk to it. So I think I might pick this one because I like how thick the stalk is. The other one that's a good choice would be this one here. Even though it's kind of wispy, I like the fact that it is split out so that it will have growth in different areas. But looking at the trunk and just the structure of this, I think I will pick, let's put them side by side and see what happens here. That one there, put this one here. So I think I'm going to go with the smaller one rather than the high one because I don't want the height right now. I want the width because this is going out in the parkway. So we'll set that one aside so I can pick them up with the cart when I come back through. So we'll set this one up in here. Hopefully nobody will pick it up on the way in. If they do, I'll just pick out another one. And we'll head back to the one plant I'm looking at. Hey, check that out. We got a lizard running through here doing his thing. He's going to be displaced after they do this construction and stuff around here. Lobelias, evergreen shrub, mounting, bloom in spring and fall. Red foliage, soil adaptable. It's a native to Mexico. Nice. Look at the flower on that thing. Really nice. Looks like it's kind of rangy, so you have to have a really special place to put that. And we walk over here and see if they have any heucheras. I hope they do. Not heucheras. I'm looking for the sundrops. There they are. Nice. Nice. So, got some different grasses that they have. All types of different grasses. This is your Muhlenbergia. A lot of people, it's also known as deer grass. A lot of people have been planting this. And it's nice. It has, sometimes people call it purple, pink molly. But this particular variety, I think, is not the pink molly. Let me take a look and see if they have any. They have one that the plume, when it comes out, it's actually pink. I don't see one around up in here. They probably have one over in another portion of the nursery. We'll take a look as we go along. But there's a lot of different grasses. A lot of people like the grasses because of the seed heads and also because of the uprightness. It depends on what the job is and where the application is, because you have different grasses that are more on the upright type of look. Then you have more grasses that are more compact with upright. Then you have some grasses that are more of a clumping, rounded, kind of more petite and customized type of look. And you have also blue-eye grass. That's a native. That expands quite a bit and it spreads out on its own when it goes to seed. This is what it looks like when it gets really prolific. But yeah, this grass right here would be a really nice grass in a small, narrow planter bed area or something like that. But the plant that I'm looking for, this is the coyote bush. This grows wild all over the place. It's these plants right here. I don't know. This looks like this is just naturalized here. So this is not, I'm cheering and stuff, and I'm cheering the fact that I thought that we had some, and this is just one that's growing in the ground. So I have to find out at the office if they have any of those that are available to pick up. What's called Caliloptus hartwigii, sun drops. I need to get like 6 of these. So hopefully they'll have some back in the back. If not, there's another nursery not far away that may have them. But they're pretty popular because you see there's none there. Have a lot of salvias, salvia gray guys, all different types of salvias going on here. So many. Check that out. He's sunning. He's enjoying the afternoon here on that rock. And there's all different types of salvias. And also you have artemisias. This artemisias has been known to be used in medicine. The Indians have used it, Native Americans have used artemisia for medicine for a long time. There's different varieties of it here. This particular variety is called tridentata. And so we'll go back over here and then pick out a couple other plants. And I'll have to go down to the main nursery, to the office, and find out if they have any of the sun drops available. I need like about 6 of them. Pretty sure they probably have 6. Also, if you notice, they have the swallows here. If you notice in the sky, there's all kind of swallows flying. San Juan Capistrano at the they have a mission, and at the mission they have the swallows. They have an annual event where the swallows come back home to nest. And so these are the nests that I'm talking about. So like all up under here are swallow nests. Check that out. I hope they don't come and attack me thinking I'm going after their homes. You can see in there's a swallow up inside of that nest there. And so they're all along up under the eave. And this is how they make their nests. And so at the mission, I have quite a few of these, I guess, in the eaves there. Because it's not far away. On the other side of the 5 freeway is the mission San Juan. But right here, we just have a lot of the nests that are here. So let me see if I can get you another shot. Check that out. So those are all the nests up in there from the swallows. And they come in and they have their young and stuff like that, which is very cool. Then we have inside, they have all the different books and all the other stuff in the Casa La Paz. So we'll take a quick venture inside and show you all the different things they have in here. California Native Plants, coloring book by Orange County chapter of the Native Plant Society. Have different pendants and beads. The books are excellent. Look at all the different books that are in here. This book is authored by one of our California landscape contractor members, Mr. Bill Snett. He was the president of the association years ago, and he and Molly Bow, they published this book called Life After Lawns. That's nice. I have another one by Carol Bornstein, California Native Plants for the Garden. I have this one. That's a really nice book. And there's some other books in here. I can't see my one buddy's book in here that he wrote. There's Deborah Baldwin. She has books in here. Succulents. Really great amount of books, materials on succulents. Kids books. Excuse me. a lot of different books. I'm losing my voice. But this is what's going on inside of Casa La Paz. Local honey. So if you're into the honey stuff, they got people that bring in different things for honey.
Hey!
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'm just disturbing your videos, all.
You're live, brother. You're live.
What?
Worldwide.
What?
I'm bragging about you, so be happy. Yeah, man, in person. All your hats and caps and stuff like that. Man, they got a really nice, they put everything out, so I have to get me a new shirt because I need a new one. So you got extra large in here, right? Or you have to get them from the office. Long sleevers. So you can hear me, but I'll let them know. But that's what's inside the Casa La Paz. Hey, doing good. And all the different information you ever need to know concerning the 5 senses, heights. This is a new one.
I was like, who is making so much
Nate?
noise out here?
Who do you think is making all the noise? You're live.
Yeah, recording.
You're live too. There you go. Now you live. You worldwide. You're worldwide. Watering native plants. All my buds here, man. Sage advice for bees and all this different stuff. So all the information you need to know is here. So it's no reason why you can't grow native plants or have an idea of what to do with native plants. And so this is just a little walkthrough, a little tour. Got a little bit of action from my friends here. And the sales reps, they're great people. It's going to be so sad to see them go after this year. And just to not have this nursery here for all the supplies and just the beauty and just the quiet points of nature is going to be sorely missed. This nursery's closing, and also there's a nursery up in Santa Barbara called San Marcos Growers. They're actually closing also too after this year. So all of our nurseries are basically closing down that supplies California natives. I'm getting plant material now out in Valley Center. It's another nursery called Moosa Creek. They really have a big supply of native plants also. So that's your little tour of the nursery today. And hope you enjoyed that little tour here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up my plants, go down to the main office and see if they have the sun drops for me, so I can pick up the sun drops and head on to my job site. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, please. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit that notification bell so when videos like this come out, you can be able to look at them, share them, and just let me know what you think. Let me know what type of videos you want me to make or you would like for me to make, because I am your landscape coach. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.